Hello, my name's Artemis, and I thought this week we would take a little bit of a slower, more chilled out vibe and approach to things because, well, I'm honestly travelling next week and I don't have an awful lot of time to do videos and shit at the moment because I'm planning and packing, but also the subject matter of which I like to talk about doesn't need a whole load of glitz and glamour and shit because it's not exactly the nicest one in the world, so it sort of works out. But yeah, we're just going to get into this because obviously there is a lot of shit going on right now, and it just feels like the more time goes on, the more shit comes up, and I feel like a lot of it has a different sort of meaning to it than a lot of people are seeing. So obviously at the moment we are seeing the wholesale attack on basically anything that isn't puritanical Christian belief. So, you know, drag, that's suddenly, you know, the devil's work, and, you know, so are trans people, they must be detransitioned and all of that, because everything is to protect the children, we have to protect the children. The children are the most vital things in the world. Apart from in between that brief 16 or 17 or 18 years or so between birth and when they're eligible for military service. Couldn't give a fuck what happens in that time, obviously. But when they're a fetus, yeah, we care. We pretend to give a shit about that little fucking gummy bear. But anyway, everything is revolving around this whole sort of, if it's different, fear it, kill it, destroy it mentality. And I can make a shitload of parallels and ironies and hypocrisies over how, you know, it's a lot of the religious leaders and political leaders that are attacking drag when in fact, you know, they're the ones that are actually a danger and a threat to children, and the hashtag not a drag queen pops up all the goddamn time because every time a child molester is arrested lately, they're not a fucking drag queen. In fact, they're more likely to be a youth pastor or a politician. So it seems like maybe we should be banning those. But ultimately, I feel like, not to put my conspiracy theory hat on, I feel like this is all deliberate. This culture war of attacking drag is a deliberate move because that's what people will be focusing on rather than bigger issues. And I think, honestly, I think the biggest issue is that no political party in the modern world, let alone country, any part of the world, no modern day political party has a single goddamn motherfucking clue what the hell to do. They don't know anything. They've got no plan. They don't know how to tackle any of the problems that their individual countries are facing. And they are literally just in it for the power that they will refuse to really use to its full effect, and the profit. And if you can keep people focused on drag and trans issues and all of this jazz, it stops them looking at, you know, your hand diving into their pockets to take what little you have. Take this country, for example. We have an awful lot of dark, shady shit going on. We have a cost of living crisis. We have a former Prime Minister being brought up on charges for misleading Parliament. We have corruption and greed and scandals and scams unheard of in British history, apart from, like, I don't know, how long have the Tories been in power? 13 years? That long. And all of that is obviously a very big deal. But if we can pretend that the big problem are the illegal immigrants coming over on those boats, yeah, it's not the people in suits that you elected that are deciding, fuck you, I want your money, and then I will fuck off to a tax haven to never give any of it back. They're not the problem. What's actually the problem of people fleeing a war-torn country trying to find some sort of semblance of a life for their family to survive in? See, it's the divide and conquer mentality here, and honestly, I think it's pretty effective, sadly. And I think that's why we've seen so much of it, whether it's drag, whether it's gay rights in the past, whether it's transgender issues, or whatever the fuck comes next. This mentality of forcing a us versus them narrative, of one side is right, one side is wrong, and then obviously using the excuse of protecting children to do it, I mean, that's genius. It's just a disturbing thing that it's always going to work and it's always going to be there. Because honestly, I think what pisses me off the most about the modern world is that we are pretty capable as a species of doing whatever the fuck we want. You know, like, we want to go to Mars? Let's fucking do it, bro. Let's go to Mars. Should we set up a moon base? I'm on it, yeah? And you know this planet that's sort of burning and killing itself? Maybe we should fix that, yeah? I mean, the sun is a pretty limitless free source of energy. So's wind, so's, you know, tidal energy. So why don't we just use those and everybody can be happy? You know, we grow enough food that everybody can have a good meal. No one has to go hungry. We got enough land and space and resources to build housing so that no one has to be homeless. We got enough information that everybody can be educated. We could really forge our way forward into a beautiful sci-fi future where everything is actually desirable and we want to live. But we don't choose that. Instead, we choose to get tied down with petty little squabbles and stupid, pointless motherfucking wars. Like, how about instead of all this Russia-Ukraine stuff, we just get Putin on an island with his dick out, and he can just single out politicians, and they can all just go on an island with a sharpened stick, or fuck it, just wave their dicks around, because that's essentially what they're doing. Just like, you are the actual people that have this so-called problem. We don't need to kill thousands and destroy an entire nation just for you to have a little fucking ego trip. And it's the same the world over. Like, we could be doing so many cool, amazing things, but nobody is choosing that. And I don't know where it comes from. I don't know why humans have such an inability to just mind their own motherfucking business. I mean, you think back a few years ago, did anybody give a single solitary fuck about people doing drag? Was that ever an issue? Was that something that we thought was a threat to freedom and a threat to children? Did anybody care about that? No. It's just popped up recently because it's an easy scapegoat. And ultimately, does anybody actually still give a fuck? Or is it just being used as some political fucking weapon? I mean, you look at the lawmakers who are going after the LGBT rights, trans rights, drag. Do you really think any of them actually, on a personal level, give two shits about the life-devastating legislation they're pushing through? Of course not. They just know that it works. They just know that, well, if we do that, we'll get votes. And votes are what we need to keep our jobs. And we need to keep our jobs so that we can continue to keep our jobs and get votes. So what exactly are you doing? I just find it odd that so many people are putting so much effort into getting power that they refuse to fucking use. Look at the Democrats. They had the House and the Senate and they did absolutely nothing with them. And it's the same in this country. Doesn't matter which colour of political party you get in, they're all the fucking same. And I just don't get it. Just, why do you give a shit? Ugh. It's just the state of the motherfucking world right now, isn't it? Maybe it's an age thing. Maybe it's old guard versus new guard. Maybe we've got a lot of very old mindsets, not specifically old people, but older mindsets that are just refusing to be eliminated from the modern consensus. You know, people often say, oh, people are living too long. I said, not really. It's more that people are not changing with the times enough. You know, there are people still alive right now who, you know, they were going through their childhood at the same time where people of colour were hose pipes, that's not the word, fire hosed out of diners. Well, if they've lived in isolated communities and not changed their mind, that means that mindset could still just be out there. And then that mindset is also allowed to go and vote. That's a problem. Like, people need to fucking keep with the times. Stop being so scared of being left behind. You can't be left behind if you are keeping up with the fucking times. Like, none of it matters to you personally. Have you ever been to a drag show? No, I don't believe in them. Well, then shut the fuck up. It ain't for you, is it? Christ. It's like the whole abortion argument. I don't believe in abortions. Well, just ignore them. You're more than happy to ignore all the thousands of children in care and all the abuses that they suffer. So it shouldn't be any different for you to ignore people going to a clinic. Oh, I don't get where humans keep the fucking audacity to force their mindset onto literally everybody else. Like, I feel like the most inflammatory fucking sentence you could ever say is, live and let live. Oh god, no, you started a war. God, humans cannot do that shit. You know, I believe everybody should live their life how they want, as long as it adheres to these specific sets of rules. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if there's really a way out of it either. I'd love to sit here and go, here's the solution. I don't know if there is one. I mean, it just seems like humans are sort of stuck in this little well of, you know, toxic sludge that they can't quite evolve past. And I don't know what needs to happen to get that to happen. Because anytime we get some sort of semblance of, oh look, we might actually be making our way forward, then a few years later it's all on the fucking back burner again, and then it's getting attacked. So I don't know. All I know is that I am massively restricting my access to the news and to social media because Doggo is off his meds now, and I cannot afford to spend my entire existence angry at the state of the world for things that I personally cannot change. So I'm going to live my life the best I can, the happiest way I can, to myself and for myself. And I also feel like if everybody had that fucking mindset, none of these problems would fucking be a bother now, would they? But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, I don't know, rant, information bit, whatever the fuck this was. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then here's some stuff you can, you know, maybe support us with. If you didn't enjoy it, here's some stuff you can maybe, you know, support us with. It's not optional. Give it a look. But yes, thank you for watching. Again, you know, apologies for the more scaled down video, but also it's different at least. Not every video is going to be, you know, a fucking full production. And spoiler alert, when I do full productions, nobody watches them, so fuck it. But anyway, thank you for watching this time, and I will speak to you in a couple of weeks, because I'm going to America next week. So there might be a little bit of a pause in, you know, uploads and stuff, but we'll figure it out as we go. Bye!